Hey, Lucifer fans, I'm Steph with Creation, and welcome back to our weekend of amazing virtual experiences featuring the cast of Lucifer. I just wanted to remind you that the top tipper wins a 5-minute one-on-one video meet and greet with Leslie right after this panel. So make sure your top supporter information is updated with your current email address. In order to find that, just under the Stage It screen, you'll see where it shows a little trophy icon. Just to the right of that, there's a green link that says complete your top supporter information, and that's where you're going to put your email address. If you'd like to tip, click the green tip button on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. And remember that tipping ends as soon as the panel is over, so make sure that you get your tips in before then, because after that, it won't count towards the total. All right, our next guest today has brought a total new meaning to the word badass. She's beautiful, she's smart, she's a powerhouse, and she also plays one on TV. Please welcome Lesley-Ann Brandt. Hi, Leslie.
Hello. How are you? I am very good. I tried a little hairband situation. What do we think? Do we like it?
I think you
feel
look
like
fabulous.
I'm 12 again.
I think you look fabulous. I think you would look fabulous no matter how your hair looks.
Oh, you're sweet.
Whatever you're wearing. I think the fans agree.
I do love fashion, like Maze. I do love it.
So is that the thing you have the most in common with her?
Oh no, we have so much more, but I would say our shoe collection, yes. Our love of fashion, yes. Our willingness to throw hands if needs be for people we love and care about, absolutely. I.e., rude kids at the park with my son. No, I'm joking. I don't beat up children, but I do death stare their mothers. And just, I think I love hard and passionately, and the way she does, and that I am vulnerable in the same way she is, but I don't always show that the way she does. So basically, there's no acting involved.
Well, you do an amazing job, and I know the fans are really anxious to ask you some questions. So if we can get started on that. Our first question is from Lee Keatman. Greetings from the UK. Wants to say that you're amazing, and also wants to know, what is the best memory that you will take with you from Lucifer?
I have so many, Lee, and thank you for that question. It's kind of hard to put one, but I would say there are two that stand out. I was just talking about this in the meet and greets, that I wasn't the original choice for Maze. So they had cast another actress, and then after the read through of the first episode, it didn't work out, and I got the call that they wanted to reinstate my deal and that they wanted me to play Maze, and that was, a life changer. But I didn't know how big of a life changer it was until our show got canceled, and you guys all created this groundswell of support and essentially saved our show, and those are two moments where on both of those occasions, I couldn't believe what was happening, but I was so grateful. So yeah.
I can't even imagine anyone else playing Mazikeen but you. Like you perfect for her.
I think I've grown with her. So I've grown to understand her. And, I think in the first season, the first few episodes, we're certainly trying to find our tone, and we're, is she more otherworldly from hell? How much vulnerability do I really want to show with her? It was challenging in a lot of ways, but I've grown to understand her to the point where she feels like a second skin. So I definitely feel when we end our show, I'm going to be losing a part of me and leaving her on the Warner Brothers lot.
She will always be a part of you.
May she live forever.
That's right. Well, I know for me and all of your fans, we would want her to live forever through you. So Okay, our next question is from Heba152. Actually,
Hi.
her name is Raina.
Hi, Brenda.
What was the most intriguing episode of Lucifer to shoot? And what were your favorite moments on set? Love from Morocco.
Morocco, my African sister, yes. One of my favorite episodes was the one you saw in the first half of 5A, which was the noir episode. For obvious reasons, I got to play my mother in this crazy period world of our show, and talking differently and wearing those gowns and walking differently. It was just so much fun, and getting to sing with Tom. It was our first Lucifer and Lilith, not Maze, moment. But I really enjoyed getting into the skin of Lilith and finding her. And the second question, I think, was like, what's my favorite memory?
What was your favorite moment from set?
Favorite moment. Ugh. Gosh, again, it's really hard. I have a lot of great memories of, on the show. I'll tell you a funny moment, which was in season 1, episode 3. I got married in the middle of that episode. So I finished work on Tuesday. I flew from LA to Bennington, Vermont on Thursday. I got married on Saturday. I flew back to Vancouver on Sunday so I could go and beat up DB on Monday. So it was like, I do see your husband, bye, gonna go to space and fight them. It was one of those crazy, like, my wedding, it will always be tied into this, like, how did this even work out? Yeah, it was funny.
Did you plan your wedding before you knew what your filming schedule was, or was it just worked out with your timing?
I mean, we certainly had planned the month, and then we had to work with production, and obviously they gave me like a week and a bit, but this is Hollywood, the show must go on. I was just grateful that I got to have that time with my friends from around the world, and that my husband is an actor too, so he was very understanding that I had to go and lick some other guy's face. Yeah, after a
That's good. He's understanding. Okay, our next question is from Mary V from Russia. What do you think Mazikeen would do during quarantine?
Binge watch crime mystery. I don't know. Every like serial killer crime mystery. I don't know. What would she be doing? Probably working out the way I did, training, always keeping the skills like ready to go. She's got to come out of she would have come out of quarantine like a phoenix rising from the ashes, just ready to be debaucherous and get into some fights and drink with her friends. So
But did you have weapon skills before you started the show, or did you train for that?
No, I learned how to use the karambits for the show. I really do thank Dan Rizzuto, who was our choreographer in season 1, who, the karambit is a Filipino weapon, and it is curved with the inside of it being sharp as well as the outside. And when he started moving with it, it was just like, it was so beautiful. It was like a little butterfly, like silver butterflies. And he said this has never really been used on TV, rarely in film. So it would be cool because it's like an extension of your hands. Like you can flip it and hook someone on this side while you're stabbing someone on this side, Very brutal too, which I loved because Maze was such a brute. But no, I took them home. I would play, I'd be walking around the house, and my husband's like, get away from me. And yeah, knives has become my thing now. I actually am wearing a little knife pendant. It's called Cut a Bitch is the name of this pendant.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
Very, very nice.
You look like a natural, so you can't tell on this side that you didn't know how to use them before. All right. Our next question is from Tiger Lily 248. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received, and what inspires you?
Ooh, the best piece of advice I've ever received. Live in the reach. And what I mean by that is, you know, sometimes sometimes people won't understand what motivates you in life, be it your family, be it your career, be it social causes that you think about or care about. Um, you know, but live in the reach. Always live to reach for that thing that you want. And no matter how many times the world will say no, society will say no, um, you keep going. I wouldn't be where I am if I listened to the world, if I didn't live in the reach, if I didn't. I'm a girl who was born in Cape Town into a country that saw me as less than because of the color of my skin. There's no way you could have told that little girl one day you're going to be in we're living in America, working in Hollywood, that your silly sense of humor and your tomboy skills are going to actually feed into this incredible career and this craft that you will eventually find at the age of 27, late in life by acting standards. And so live in the reach.
That's beautiful advice, and it's beautiful. I think that's definitely a mantra we should all live by. Okay, next question is from ORD Becky from Sweden.
Hi.
What is your favorite behind the scenes moment?
Favorite behind the scenes moment. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's moments, and it's always it's always before they yell cut, when they're allowing us to ad lib some funny stuff, or there's one scene. There is actually, this might be my favorite. There is one scene in season 6, episode, I'm not going to tell you because then you guys are going to try and find it. But there is one scene. I'll say it's towards the tail end. And it is so funny. And they allowed me to do just some crazy, if you want to see, like, it's kind of like the summation or like a reflection of my sense of humor. It's very dirty. It's really funny. And I had a lot of fun filming it. But I can't tell you because then I'm gonna ruin it. I know I suck.
No, that's okay. No spoilers. We're all, I know we're all anxiously awaiting for more episodes. So we'll wait. And maybe when that comes up, then you can.
I'll say it. I'll tweet it. I'll tweet the screenshot. You'll know exactly.
Well, we will make sure to look out for that. Okay, Lulu from Canada wants to know, what projects do you have coming up?
I'm in the process of selling and pitching a project. Well, selling, I should say, a project that has been a passion project for me. And I've been sitting on it for about 6 years, for about as long as Lucifer has been around. So there are many things in the works right now in terms of other shows and other auditions. Again, I can't say too much. I signed things like NDAs, which forbid me from doing this, but there are many pokers in many fires. But I will say you will see me producing projects and telling stories that are meaningful to me, to the world, to women, to people of color. And so I'm excited about that start to my journey being creative in that space.
Well, I know we're all excited to see what you come up with. I know we all can't wait for that. So Okay, so a few people have mentioned how amazing of a singer you are,
Oh,
and they want to know who are your musical influences and how did you get started singing?
how did I get started? Well, music is a big part of my childhood, my life now. My son, so my grandmother could sing, my father can sing. I inherited that from them, and my son actually, we think, has got that same gene, and I'm so happy because he harmonizes with me. Um, I always, when I was younger, I said I wanted to either be like a social worker or I wanted to be Whitney Houston, and I used to pretend with a hairbrush in front of my mirror to be her. And I always wished I had like that really like powerful voice. Um, but I sing for fun, you know. I think on the show, it's great that you get to flex something that, you know, and it's very vulnerable too. It's very vulnerable. Like it's different to acting because you're bearing your heart in a different way. And I would never call myself a singer. I think I'm an actress who can carry a note. Because I think I have too much respect. I'm friendly with Nicole Scherzinger, who's incredible, the lead singer, if you don't know her from the Pussycat Dolls. And when I hear Nicole sing, like we run into each other at our trainers, it's just like next level. And she's got this power, and I'm like, oh man, to stand on a stage and be able to belt those notes out would be so like incredible. But I I it was fun. It's fun in our show, and it's fun that I have, you know, 3 songs on Lucifer that, and in fact, I do sing a little more in the musical episode in 5B, so keep an eye out for that.
Oh, we are so excited about that. All right, Joyce, 1119 says hypothetically, if you got stuck in an elevator, who among the other cast members would you want to be stuck with and why?
I would say Kevin. Kevin or Tom, maybe both, because they'd have weed and we just get high and um maybe Kevin and Trix. Scarlett. Let's see. I feel like Amenadiel would be too. He would be too like in his head. Rach might be freaking out a bit, even though she's the therapist. Lauren probably would too. Amy would not stop talking, so I would have to not. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe Tom or Kevin. Yeah, because we just, you know, wait, we'd sing. That's what we would do. Kevin can play the guitar. We'd sing.
That sounds like a fun time in an elevator. Okay, the next question is from Mary. She says her mom is also from Cape Town and wants to know, what do you miss the most about being there?
Oh, my gosh, so many things. Definitely my family and my friends, obviously, but there is a blood love you have for that country, for that continent, and especially for Cape Town. Um, like it wasn't until my husband went there and met my family that he really understood me. Because Cape Town girls, South African girls, we are hard, man. Like I remember him going to a bar and this guy, he was standing there and I was dancing with my friends, and the guy figured out that he was American, and he said to him like, you are brave. You are brave to have a girl from Cape Town. um, but it's like the language, the the views, nothing beats Table Mountain, the beaches, the sense of community, the sense of humor. I mean, it is a country that has been through so much, but we've never lost our sense of humor at all, even in the most tragic instances. And I think that's probably the same for you know, people around the world when countries and people have gone through hardships. Um, but there is, yeah, it's a blood love for like when you are African, you just never lose it ever.
Do you get to visit very often? Do you get to go back a lot?
Yeah, I was supposed to go back last year, obviously didn't, but I shot. So here's something Dennis God and I have in common. He is the face of Allstate, and I'm the face of Santam, which is like South Africa's biggest insurer. So I had to go there I did some charity work at the same time with two organizations I'm affiliated with, and then I shot a series of like commercials and billboards and radio spots for it. So I do get to go back, obviously not as often as I would like, because of work and my life here, but it's the project I'm working on will kind of merge the two. So I will hopefully be shooting in Cape Town next year.
Oh, very nice. Okay, the next question is from Ali Southhams from the UK. They say, we saw a cute dog on set and behind the scenes. Were you working with it? And if you were, how was it?
I was not. I did not see the dog. So, sorry. I've worked with a pig on set, though, before. He was cute.
How was it working with a pig?
So cute. So cute. I'm vegan, so, like, animals are my jam. I have two dogs, pit bull and a husky, both rescues. But, oh, yeah, no. We had a, no, I lied. There is a scene where Maze works with dogs, yes. It's funny. Lots of puppies, actually. Yeah, it's a good scene. My mistake. See, you guys are still talking about like 5B, and I'm like at the end of 6. Yeah, no, that's a really great scene. And I love, I personally love working with animals. They're just so smart. They really are. I'm also very protective, making sure that like whoever is there is that it's legit. Our show obviously makes sure that the people who bring in and treat their animals well, because you do hear stories, but never the people that have been in our show. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, Anna wants to know if you have a favorite costume, and if so, which one?
Ooh. The stuff in 6 is like next level, I gotta say. You see me post about Agatha, our costume designer, and we just vibe so well. There's two. One is a dress, one is this unitard kind of. It's just interesting. I mean, I wear bone and leather and just weird jewelry. Stuff that like I personally probably wouldn't wear during the daytime, but maybe at night in the club, if I want to look crazy and dangerous. But yeah, there's a dress and that is pretty incredible. But all of Mazikeen's costumes, I put a lot of thought into, because I learned on Spartacus, a show that I did, a period show that I did, that the wardrobe will tell the story of what your character is going through. It will reflect that. So if you notice with Mazikeen's costume, she starts off in lots of corsets, lots of things that feel like otherworldly and sort of not of LA sort of fashion, whatever that is. And then they become more functional. She's a bounty hunter, so sensible but on trend chic boots with leather jackets because she's a bounty hunter. And then she starts giving no fucks come season 5. Going into season 6, she is like full, straight from the runway, very chic, mixed with, her own sort of style and taste, and she's very much just herself. By the end of it, what she is wearing is authentically her, but she has grown and changed in the ways that you will see as you watch the show.
Well, as a follow-up to that question, Johanna wants to know if you were involved in the designing of Mazikeen's looks.
I am, yes, very much so. Um, I think more than anyone on the show, any other actor. For two reasons. I think one, she is the character you can have the most fun with in terms of her costumes and her looks, her makeup, her hair, her wardrobe. And two, the reason I just said before is you can really tell the story of what a character is going through their wardrobe. And it feels, having her. Mazikeen is the kind of character that stands out, whether she's at a picnic, whether she is at a murder scene, whether she is fighting someone. She leads with a sense of she just presents herself to the world in a certain way, kind of similar to me in that respect, because like I said, I do love fashion a lot. And but yeah, Agatha will bring a bunch of pieces, and then I go through and I pick, and I say to her, I'll try something on, and I'll go, what about, do you have like something that I can tie here? Let's add like some leather here. Let's extend this. So it's really like our two minds kind of working together, so that also we think about where we're shooting. Is it in Lux? It's very dark there, so we should have something that like stands out a bit more. Or if I'm, on a motorbike or whatever, then let's have something that flaps in the background. If I'm fighting, let's make it functional but badass. So I can move so it looks like armor. So yes, I am very involved with my costumes.
Well, I know they are. That must be so much fun because all the outfits are so like powerful and really cool. I know that you have a lot of fans. Your fashion, you and fashion. Okay, Isabel from Brazil wants to know if you intend on taking anything from set, and what would it be if you could?
Since I haven't. I'd say my blades for sure. I actually have from the pilot. I have 2 rings that I wore, that they had to double because they bring it back um on the show, and I let them borrow it because I was like, you guys can't have this. This is like, these were the rings I wore on the very first day of set. Like the pilot episode, I remember David Bowie was playing. He had just passed away, and we were shooting a scene in Lux where Maze is introduced and Patrick's going down on her, and she's like, "Hey, thank you," and then talks to Lucifer, and that was two little items I took to remember that moment, because you never know if the show's going to go to series or if it's going to get picked up. But I'd say my blades. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, Maria from Brazil wants to know what are the things that you've learned from Maze that you will carry with you forever?
Be yourself. Be yourself. That is enough. You don't owe anyone an explanation for what drives you or motivates you. And the world will try and box you in and make you conform to their ideas of how things should be done. Be the kind of woman, be the kind of person that like breaks those norms. What's normal. I've often in my life and recently been told like, you're so ambitious, like it's a negative thing. And my friend Mina Harris, who is Vice President Kamala Harris's niece, wrote this book, Ambitious Girl, and she said it was like, in my household, and the same with hers, I was raised to be ambitious, be outspoken, and it was a positive thing. But the world, as we, as women, will find that the world tells you, well, yeah, as long as it's presented in a certain way that is more palatable or is ingested okay. And I'm like, no, fuck that. Sometimes people need to just walk to the beat of their own drum, and it might mean that you make others uncomfortable or upset the social norms or lose people in your life, um, or you're made fun of or whatever that is. But you know who you are, and you know your heart, and you know what you stand for. So fuck the rest and just keep going.
Love it. Love it. Such powerful words. So true. Okay, so Patina 40 is sending kisses from Poland and wants to know if there was a Lucifer spinoff about Maze, would you do it? And is it possible?
I would totally do it. Yes. But you know, I'm about to be 40, guys. Someone goes, wouldn't it be great to do a reunion in 20 years? I'm like, I'd be 60. I'm not sure my hips would be working at that point to kick ass. But yeah, no, I would definitely be up for it. I think not necessarily in our world, because I think what makes our show special and successful is the entire cast and the chemistry that everyone has in these relationships. But I think it would have to be a very different version of her. You know, sometimes I feel like there's so much more to tell in terms of her darkness, and like, you know, that's the side of her that I feel there's a lot of story to tell. Her in hell, I always wanted to see what she was like in hell. This is not a spoiler, but we don't really get to see her. We get to see a version of her hellish behavior, but we never actually physically see her there. Maybe that is a spoiler. I don't know, because people think I'm going to be queen of hell. Shit, don't tell anyone.
Won't say anything. Just the secret between us and all of your fans. Okay. This next question is from Luval. What food do you usually eat on either at home or on the set of Lucifer?
I am vegan, so I eat no animal products. And you know, people have this weird idea that vegan food isn't yummy. It's the most delicious thing, and I cook. I love to cook. I cook all different kinds of cuisines. I have so many cookbooks. My husband is the proud recipient of my experiments in the kitchen, and my son. And I have a very diverse palate. Like, I love to try different, cuisines, as I say, from different countries, different textures, different tastes. But it's usually like 80% vegetables and then some kind of grain, quinoa or millet or buckwheat. But I'm not, as much as I love healthy food, I'm not a foodie. Like, I eat because if I didn't, I would die. Like, I don't dream about food the way some people wake up and they're like, oh, I just want pancakes. It's not really my jam. My trainer and I laugh because we're like, it's like a lifestyle for us. So yeah, I try and just nourish my body and be as healthy, as I can. And honestly, like, my son is a big motivation for that, because I want to be as around as long as I can for him.
Oh, that's wonderful. Although now I'm hungry, so okay.
I'll tell you what I'm snacking on. So this is a protein puff, right? Vegan, and it is made of brown rice, organic protein blend, peas. It's like this, made of peas, brown rice, and green peas and yellow peas.
But they're like chips.
And they're like a chip. So if I want, that's like a naughty food for me. Like, I shouldn't be eating it. Food.
Well, that sounds really. Where do you get it?
Erewhon, the most expensive grocery store in the history of the land. If you live in LA, you know.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, next question. Did you have a role model or inspiration in your life, and who is it?
Growing up? I had two. My grandfather, he was my best friend for a long time. I have his signature tattooed on my wrist here. You know, my sense of humor, my mischievousness, my sort of just being who I am, I think I definitely get from my grandfather. And then I would say, you know, growing up, and it's really like a reflection now as an older and a woman, I would say my mother, because she had a very hard childhood. It was not fun for her. And she somehow managed to find, you know, her life out of that. She met my father. She was an extremely successful career woman, and then she gave that all up to help us all move to New Zealand, my brother and I, and she's really just been in service of her family and like her friends, and then also perfect strangers. My empathy, my where I get this need, or I shouldn't say need, the sense of responsibility I feel to help people or to speak up for people, or, you know, especially my love of children is from my mother. And I think as my tenaciousness and my like grit is from my dad, my heart though is from my mother for sure. And so they kind of gave me the best of both of them. But as a woman, knowing where she started, and you know, for my mother to say that she's proud of me means the world to me.
I would imagine your entire family is proud of you and everything you've done and the strength that you bring not only to women but to people in general. I would imagine they're extremely proud of you.
I hope so. I hope so. In my culture, it's funny. It's like my dad was just saying, he was just like, I don't say it enough, but like I am proud of you. Because in our culture, it's like, you know that I love you, right? Like you know. But I try and remind my son, you know, that he is loved, that he is supported, and that he has a responsibility to make sure that anyone who's struggling around him, that he steps in to help. So what was really sweet for me was he just started going back to preschool, and there's a little boy who was just starting out his first day, and he was obviously like crying and very upset because, you know, his mama was leaving. And King went over and grabbed his hand, and he's like, "It's okay, I'm gonna be your friend today," and like took him off. And like I was like, parents really should worry less about the SATs at 3 years old and more about, is my kid kind? Am I gonna go sit next to the kid at lunch who's lonely and doesn't have any friends? And so he made me so proud in that moment.
That is a proud parent moment for sure. And that's a lot. That says a lot about your parenting. And I think that's so important to instill that in children. To be, yes, to be kind, and adults too need to remember that sometimes.
Absolutely.
Okay, Issa wants to know if you've binge watched any shows during the pandemic, and sending love from Brazil.
Hello. Did I binge watch shows? I did. I May Destroy You, which destroyed me in the best ways. And I was just became so enamored with Michaela Cole, and I just find her to be such an incredible storyteller and so brave. If you don't know who she is, Google her. She's amazing. And what else did I watch in the pandemic? Lots of home renovation shows. I love home decor. My God, my brain. I recently started watching WandaVision actually, and I'm really enjoying it. It's hard though when you're a mother with a toddler who was not in school to binge watch anything, because usually by the end of the night I was like, give me a wine and let me get to bed. What else did I watch? WandaVision is more recent. I know there was one thing. I'm forgetting. I'm sorry. I have a memory like a goldfish.
That's okay. That's okay. There's a lot of shows out there. Okay, Larissa from Romania would like to know, did you do all of your own stunts, and was it challenging to learn those? And how long does it take to rehearse?
I'd say 95% of my stunts. The really hard big hits, I tend to leave to my stunt double, who I love. I have two of them. And because one of them's super busy and doubles Halle Berry on her projects, and so but yeah, I do about 95% of them, and I don't find it that hard to learn because I am an athlete. I've always been an athlete, so it's kind of like learning a dance for me. I typically don't need much rehearsal time because I do pick up things really quickly unless it's a very kind of specific fight with multiple people, like we did in the end of 5A, where it was me and Tom and DB and then Michael as well. Like we needed some time, but we rehearsed it in specific spots. But I'd say out of the boys, I'm the one that like really give me the fighting any day. Yeah, I love the physicality of this character. It's a big part of who she is. It's how she, I always say she comes from her groin always. She leads with that. So yeah, I typically would maybe run through it with a choreographer and our coordinator day before. Sometimes because of time, it's been day of where I learn something, which is not always great, but what I try and do then is go home and learn the fight and rehearse it so that I give the director as many usable takes as possible. And what I mean is that I know it so well that they never really have to use my double, so that whether I'm like flying through frame, it's always my face, so you can see it's like, oh, that's actually her doing it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Sophia wants to know what song, like if Mazikeen had a theme song, what would it be?
What would it be? You wouldn't expect this song, but there's a version of oh God, I think Joni Mitchell sang the original. But there's a version of it's slow, and this one is performed by Diana Krall, and it's called "A Case of You." And I always listen to that song thinking about the love between Maze and Lucifer. And there's lines in the song where it's like, if you're looking for me, you can meet me in the bar. Um, um, you're in my you're in my blood like holy wine. You taste so bitter and you taste so sweet. I could drink a case of you, my darling, and still be on my feet. Yeah, I think that for me at least resonates the most with Maze.
God, that's a good answer. That's
Because
a good
I
answer.
know, because it's like, and this is where I say, like, would I do another show with Maze? Yes, because I feel like we were introduced to these two as just their best friends. They come from hell, like, but we never really like saw that journey, like we never really explored how they got to that point. And even then with our show, where they're pulled and tethered, and you know, and but there's a deep love, a deep understanding, a deep respect. They are those friends that call each other out on their shit. They're those friends who fight, but they always make up. They always are there in the moments that they truly, truly need each other. And you will see that in season 6.
Well, we are looking forward to it. Lesley, we're out of time. You're incredible. I know on behalf of your fans, we're sending you love, and we will follow you, follow your career, and support you always. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much. And thank you to you guys in the virtual world for supporting us and, you know, live tweeting with us. And I love your fan theories. I love your interactions with me on social media. I love when we agree. I love when we don't agree. And that's what makes, you know, this fandom so special, is that, you know, we come from all different walks of life, and we've found this community with a little old TV show about the devil. So thank you so much for all your support.
All right, guys. Tipping is now done, and we're going to bring you the results in just a few moments. But first, make sure you're signed up for our email list at creationent.com, and follow us on social media at creationent on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and at Creation Entertainment on TikTok. Okay, guys, our winner of the 5-minute one-on-one video meet and greet is, drumroll please, Mabs, M-A-B-S, Mabs. You are our winner of the 5-minute one-on-one video meet and greet. But hang out. So we're going to send you the link in your email address, but just make sure you hang out in this chat, the Stage It chat, just in case we have an issue getting you your link. All right, guys, we're going to be back later today with DB Woodside. See you soon.